Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be the decisions that change the direction of your life. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So when you were in the narcissistic relationship, there were many decisions that were made that were way out of your control. Maybe you were brought up in a narcissistic family where your mom or dad was a toxic individual. Maybe it was your sibling. Maybe the narcissistic relationship you're thinking about is a romantic relationship. You married the narcissist. Maybe they are a coworker, a neighbor, a person in a community or organization you are in or were a part of. The narcissist is everywhere. They are a dark energy force that will come at you in different shapes of humanity. Now, until you get the wisdom on the channel, you don't really know what narcissism is because you couldn't wrap your head around it because you weren't taught this in school. But many things in your life, the decisions that were made, they got you to this point right here, right now in time. Remember this, there is no such thing as a coincidence. You are exactly where you're meant to be. If you're on a plane consuming this video, if you're going to bed consuming the video, if you just woke up, you're having a coffee, you're on the beach, you're on a train, wherever you are, you're meant to be consuming this right now. And having said that, that's a decision that you made. You made a mental, concerted effort to tune into the video and to get some wisdom. That's a beautiful thing. That's called becoming awakened and aware, educated and empowered. But going back in time when you were in the narcissistic relationship, your head was spinning. You were on a roller coaster of emotions. You couldn't wrap your head around that relationship. You did not know what was going on. The narcissist that you're referring to, you're thinking about, in the past, of course, at least that's my hope, that you've broken free from these people, that person would not tell you the truth many times. They would tell you partial truths. They would omit truths. They would make up stories. They would gaslight you, stonewall you, give you the silent treatment. They would verbally abuse you, mentally abuse you, physically at times abuse you, emotionally abuse you, definitely financially abuse you. But all of these decisions that they made to destroy you, they were concerted. They knew exactly what they were doing. Many times people ask me during one-on-one sessions, hey, Andrew, does the narcissist know what they're doing? My take, and I'll stand by this, is yes, they do. They know exactly what they're doing. They breathe the same air as we do. They put their clothes on the same way, and they have a choice each and every morning when they wake up. What are they going to do? Are they going to build and create and head towards a common goal, or are they going to look to manipulate and take and destroy and lie and steal and cheat? That's what the narcissist usually does. Now, not everybody does that. I understand that. But I'm saying if you were in a toxic narcissistic relationship for a period of time, drop comments below. You know what I'm talking about. This relationship almost took you down for the count. And many of the decisions that you made in that relationship were to benefit you and the narcissist. Many decisions that the narcissist made in that relationship were calculated. They were to benefit themselves. You need to really understand this. So let's say that you entered a relationship romantically with the narcissist. Again, you weren't taught this in school, so you didn't know what narcissism was. You thought that the person perhaps you fell in love with was a kind, stable, healthy person who was exactly who they proclaimed to be. Now, we now understand that the narcissist is not many times who they claim to be because they're wearing a mask. They're trying to manipulate unsuspecting, vulnerable people to getting into these relationships. And once the narcissist knows they have you, example, you told them you loved them, you moved in with them, you relocated, you loaned them money, you put a roof over their head, you started a business, you had children. When you did any or all of these things, the narcissist knew right then and there it was game, set, match, that they now owned you. Now, yes, that's exactly what they thought, but the truth of the matter is they don't own you. They never have and they never will. They manipulated you into believing that they were better than you, that you had to put yourself low on the pedestal and pump them up for a period of time, which was the length of the relationship. But then again, you found the wisdom. You found that needle in a haystack. You researched through a search engine or YouTube, spouse won't talk to me, or rage fit, or gaslighting. And the next thing you know, you're getting light bulb moments left, right, and center, and you're understanding, wow, holy cow, that's the relationship I was a part of. This person never loved me. They never cared about me. They're off to the new supply, because that's a cycle that goes on and on and on, and it goes around and around and around. And the best thing that ever happened to me is by me researching and or making a decision that I wouldn't tolerate the toxic behavior any longer, and I wanted to search in the search engine or YouTube. That was a decision I made to save myself when I didn't even know that I was going to be saving myself. I was just so beaten down and so punished and so berated, and I was enduring the weight and the heaviness of the relationship of one person doing all the work of a family or two people. That was you. The weight of the relationship was completely cumbersome and it fell upon your shoulders. It did not fall upon the narcissist's shoulders. The narcissist would disappear at the drop of a hat as soon as something got challenging or difficult, or your health took a hit, or your finances went to zero, or you lost your job, or you couldn't pay the mortgage, or any of those things. That's when they disappeared. That's when they went on to the new supply. Not all the time, but usually. Now, having said these things, you made a pivotal decision in your life to research terms and to figure out what you were up against. And lo and behold, you discovered what narcissism was, or toxic behavior, whatever you want to call it. The point being there is when you figured it out, you probably dropped down to your knees or maybe curled up in a ball and wailed and cried and screamed and was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. This is verifying everything that I thought. All these boxes are being checked off, check, 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 because all this poor behavior like triangulation or blame shifting or mirroring or the smear campaign or stonewalling, all of these things you experienced, you just didn't know what they were because you weren't taught this in school and you were isolated in your own home. You lost your identity, and the decisions you were making back then when you were in the relationship were to benefit the relationship and the narcissist, to keep peace in the family, to keep peace in the house. So you did not ever, once you realized that it was easier for you to be quiet, meaning if you voiced your opinion or stood up for yourself or put a boundary in place, again, the narcissist would say, what's your problem? You're so weak. You're lame. Go get help. You need a therapist. I should have never married you. There are so many other people that want to be with me. What's your problem? Have thicker skin. The only person I have problems with is you. They would say things like that. So you get so beaten down, you realize when they ask you what restaurant you want to go to, you have two choices, very simple. Either A, you tell them where you want to go, and let's say that they say, no, I don't want to go there. Then you're like deflated, and you're like, really, again? Or they do go, and then they tell you that that restaurant was no good, the food wasn't good, the wait staff was horrible, they had to wait too long, the soup was cold, there were only 2 ice cubes in the water, not 3. So then what do? The other option is you be quiet and you say, hey, you can pick the restaurant, it's up to you. And then what happens? Then they say, you can never make a decision. What's your problem? I just gave you a perfect opportunity. You could pick whatever restaurant you wanted to. Why didn't you do it? You don't have a backbone. You're so weak. And then what would they do? They would pick the restaurant. And guess what? You would be sitting there right across the dinner table from them when they're on one of their 3 smartphones and they're triangulating you with the wait staff, and you're scratching your head looking around the room saying, why are all these other couples looking like they're having a pleasurable, enjoyable evening? And I am sitting here staring at the tablecloth while my partner is on one of his or her 3 smartphones getting supply right in front of me, not even acting like I'm here. But yet I have to pay the bill, and yet I have to drive the car. And yet I have to be the one who tolerates the poor behavior. But no one in this room can see what's going on because they're too busy having a great evening. This is what would happen. But the decision that you made in that relationship, perhaps you did this one, perhaps you took notes. Maybe you wrote them down on a sheet of paper or wrote them in your smartphone about the poor behavior that was being administered to you by the toxic narcissistic person. Well, you took those notes years ago. Did you ever think that they would pay off? I don't know, but I can tell you right now, I took notes and they're from a certain year and they paid off handsomely for me because I didn't realize what I was up against. And those notes, I still have them dated a certain year, and I have not refreshed that page on purpose because I want to keep those notes documented for the exact date and year they were in. But if you found yourself doing that, that's a huge red flag. You see, if you're in a stable or healthy relationship, both people should be working for each other, meaning in a healthy way, for the betterment of the relationship. They should be headed in the same direction. They should be loving, accommodating. They should be respectful and listening. They should be putting their smartphones down when they enter the house and asking each other how the days were, and take some time out, maybe 20 minutes, maybe an hour, maybe the rest of the night, and just be in each other's company. Wouldn't that be nice? Yes, it would be. You didn't get that when you're with the narcissist. What you got was rage fits, blame shifting, gaslighting. Many times when you would go home, and you would have to make that tough decision. Should I enter the house or should I stay out and maybe stay later at work or go to the gym or do something? And then you would wait and you'd be like, oh, it's a Friday. I guess I'll go home on time and hope that when I open the front door, Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde is not prevalent, meaning hopefully that things go well that night. And you would roll the dice, and yeah, every once in a while you'd get a relatively warm greeting when you open the house, but you had to make a decision. Were you gonna go home on time? Were you going to stay out? Were you going to contact the narcissist and ask them what they needed from the store? Because remember, many times you would come home from work and you'd be sent right back out. Hey, go pick up the kids, go pick up the dry cleaning, put gas in the car, go to the store, buy all these foods, and you're like, well, I just got home. I've been working 60 hours this week. What's going on? Well, what's going on is you're the unpaid helper. You're the walking apology. You're the person who's supposed to be the butler, who's supposed to be the errand person, the chauffeur. You're the person who's not supposed to open your mouth. You're supposed to be a person who just tolerates the poor behavior and becomes an extension of the narcissist. And I'm sure if any of that resonates with you, drop comments below, because that's what happened. But the decisions that were made in the relationship, you found out relatively quickly after a pivotal thing happened, like let's say you did get married, where you identified that the person that you own the money is what I meant to say. When you did that, you realized, wait, things have shifted now. There's a power shift. And before I got married, there was no power. Things were relatively equal, and we seemed to be on the same page. But when that wedding ring was on the finger, no. All those wedding vows were thrown right out the window, and the narcissist said, yep, I now own you. And that's what they thought. And I'll tell you right now, if your relationship ended yesterday or 10 years ago, the narcissist still believes they own you. Truth is, they don't. They never have and they never will. You're a free spirit. You're a beautiful, bright, shining light. Nobody owns anybody on this planet. But the narcissist is so egotistical, and they're so shallow and anxiety riddled, and they're so empty at their core. They believe that they own people, and I'll tell you why right now. The reason why is because they place people in the trauma bond. Now, could you place somebody in the trauma bond? I doubt it, because you're not a narcissist. And if you are, please leave the channel. You're not welcome here. But the trauma bond is when the narcissist takes you on the roller coaster of emotions. They take you really high, they drop you really low. They push you away, they pull you back in. And you never can quite get your footing in the relationship, because just when you think you figured out what, like today's going to be a great day, for an example, well, no, they would disappear or ghost you, or say that they would break plans with you, meaning, let's say you had dinner arrangements, well, they wouldn't show up, or they would tell you something's more important. I'll catch you later in the week. And you're like, what are you talking about? Like, we've had these plans for weeks. Or here's a classic. Let's say that there was an event that you wanted to go to, that you wanted to go to, and you made the decision to buy the tickets well in advance. You're looking forward to it. The narcissist knows this. What did they do? They agreed to everything. We're going to go. It's going to be a great time. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be exciting. And then maybe an hour or two, maybe a half a day before, maybe a day before that big event, they cancel. Or they tell you they're sick. Or they tell you they can't make it. Or they tell you that someone in their family's sick, they have to go somewhere. Or they tell you that they just got a flat tire, they have to change that, they're not going to be able to make it. What they do is they just blew up that whole event that you had planned on attending with them. Think about how many times that happened in your life when you were with them. Think about all the plans that you made, all of the money you spent, all the time invested in that relationship, and it never worked out. Yes, did you have good times? Of course you did. Did the good times outweigh the toxic negative energy? Not even close. If there were 30 days in a month, you probably had good days, maybe 3 days out of the month, maybe 4, maybe 2. I'm not sure. I can't tell you that. But I can tell you this. Almost every day in that 30-day period, you were enduring the gaslighting, stonewalling, silent treatment, rage fits. You were being blamed for things you did or didn't do. And the energy in the room or the house was so thick you could cut it with a butter knife. But all the decisions that were made, they led you up to this point in time with me here, right now. Just like I'm creating this content, you're consuming it. So you need to understand a few things. First of all, you're fortunate to be on the planet because you were born. That's a huge thing. Many people can't even fathom that, because the odds of you being born are astronomical. I don't know what they are, honestly, but just the fact that you're a human being on the planet, you're beautiful and blessed. You really are. That's number one. Number two, if you were brought up in a narcissistic household, my heart goes out to you. Your childhood wasn't what you hoped it would be, or wasn't what you thought it was, but the point is you're getting the wisdom on the channel and in the community, so you can pay it forward and share your experiences and insight with other people that perhaps are going through the same thing or did go through the same thing. And maybe you finally figured out after decades that you have to block your mom or dad who is the narcissist. Maybe you are the parent and you had to block your child, your son or daughter. Or maybe you're the sibling and you said, you know what, after 30 or 40 years on the planet, this person isn't changing. I need to block my brother or sister. Who knows? But if that was you, please drop comments below. You're still fortunate to be here on the planet, because there's a purpose for you being on the planet. You are needed, you are loved, you are respected, you are cherished, you are honored, you are part of all of us. We need you. The third thing I'll share with you is, if you were blaming yourself for being in the narcissistic relationship, an example, let's say you married the narcissist, or they were one of your good friends. Well, that was not your fault, because the narcissist, remember two things. One, as they get older, they become the aging narcissist, and they really can't wear that mask. They can't keep it super glued to their face as tight as it used to be. Number two is, you were manipulated, you were taken advantage of. Throughout the whole relationship, the narcissist was not only envious of you and jealous of you, but they tried to tear you down. What do you think the smear campaign is? Why do you think this person always needed attention, Why do you think that you came last on the list and they came first through 50th? So you would be putting the narcissist way ahead of yourself, and you would be placing them high on the pedestal to the detriment of yourself. This is what they wanted. They need people believing in the mask. They need people believing that the narcissist is better than you. That's why the narcissist always overplays their hand. That's why they blow up every relationship they're a part of. That's not you. The common denominator in the narcissistic toxic relationship, it's one person. It's not you, it's the narcissist. Think about how many times the narcissist was married. Think about how many times that they had to block or unblock, or sorry, that they were blocked or had to block people. Why would they do that? Because people caught on to them, and that's administering some punishment. Side note, pro tip, if the narcissist blocked you on any platform at all, that's a great thing. That is giving you a green light for yourself to block them on that platform and any other platform that you have them open or available on, because you should not be in communication with the narcissist. There should not be one avenue of communication open or available to the narcissist to contact you, not one. So why I'm sharing this part with you, and this is a pro tip, if the narcissist blocked you, you need to block them immediately, because if they blocked you and you did not block them, then they're in control. They can unblock you and pop up at any time. And I hear this so frequently during one-on-one sessions. You need to take ownership, and you need to take the reins, and you need to block them as soon as you can. That's why in the channel, virtually every video I create, I suggest people to go no contact, block the narcissist, delete them, and remove all flying monkeys and people associated with them. That's the path. If you can't do that, I understand. Utilize gray rock, become dull and boring. Get off the radar of the narcissist. Do not engage with them. Do not encounter them. Do not let them know what you're doing, what your whereabouts are, what your health is, if you're in love, what your new friends are, your hobbies, where you've moved to. Don't let them know anything about you. You need to get off the radar, become small. Now, getting back, as the thumbnail mentions, the decisions that were made took you to where you are. All of these things, every single decision in your life, whether it was up to you, your parents, your friends, your teachers, whomever, there were so many different decisions that changed the trajectory of your life. But one, that the most important one for this video, is the narcissistic relationship. That was not your fault. You were taken advantage of. You need to be kind to yourself. You need to get the wisdom, apply the tools. You need to understand that the narcissist is everywhere, all over the planet. They really are. Now, should you be walking around the globe looking for narcissism? No, you shouldn't. You should be living your best life, and you should be abundant, and you should be having these doors of positivity open up for you, specifically post-narcissistic relationship, because the doors will open up for you. But what you shouldn't be doing is staying trapped in that low vibrational state with the narcissist. That's where they want you. That's why they hoover people and try and draw them back in to finish them off. But all these decisions that you made in the relationship, they weren't being paid attention to by the narcissist. Example, when you would put your foot down and say, hey, the kids need a curfew at this time, or we should go to vacation here, or we should buy this car, the narcissist is going to throw a monkey wrench in every one of those things. You didn't know what you were up against back then, but now you do. So now that you're lighter, and now that you've healed, or you're well on the healing path, headed to that pinnacle of indifference, that mountaintop of indifference, now you can make decisions in your time, and you can slow your life down and process things. You can be kind to yourself. You can understand that that relationship you were a part of, it almost sincerely took you down for the count. Hollywood could not write a movie even 1/10 or 1/1,000,000th as much as your life story. Your life story, I can assure you, would crush any Hollywood movie. Why? Because it's your life, and it's real, and people wouldn't believe it. That is why we in the community speak the same language. Most of us have gone through the narcissistic abusive cycle, and we can understand in a second where the other person is just by listening to them, watching their eyes, listening with the words they use and how they communicate. That is a superpower. It's a superpower on steroids once you do reach the pinnacle of indifference. Because many people currently, think about this for a minute, many people around the world are in narcissistic relationships right now, and they don't know it. That was you at one point. Many people are in relationships, and they can't quite wrap their head around what they're in. They're getting closer figuring it out, but they didn't figure it out yet. Other people they have identified that their partner or the person that they're thinking about is a toxic person, but they don't know how to break free because they're trapped. Maybe they're financially dependent upon the narcissist and they can't cut the tie. Maybe they have children together. Maybe they're still divorced or looking to get divorced. Maybe they've gone from romance to roommates in the household. There are a litany of reasons why people, once they've identified that their partner or somebody is a narcissistic person, and they can't get free from them right now. But eventually, you need to have an exit plan. You need to understand that your current environment It is only one decision away from you removing yourself from that relationship or that environment. That's the path. So if you have the ability to relocate or to move or to get divorced, whatever you're going to do, I strongly suggest you have a roadmap to do that, because that's what you need to do. Because once you've identified that someone's a narcissist in your life, in your town, your community, the organization you're a part of, your family, you should not be in that relationship 1 minute longer than you need to be, because they don't improve, they only get worse. And you are only one decision away from removing yourself from that individual, from that person. That's a great thing. Now again, I understand everyone's circumstances are different. I get it. We are all similar, but yet different. So if you don't have the ability to leave right now, fine, but have a plan, have an exit plan. It's imperative. If not now, when? Understand the message. It's vitally important that you know your value, your worth, that there will be and there are better days ahead for you. That's why so many times in the community, if you read the comments during the videos or as you're playing the videos, many people are now sharing comments of abundance, of stoicism, of beauty, of opening doors, of possibility, of falling in love again, of creating new friendships, of traveling, of growth, of days and hours and weeks and months and years they never thought possible, because they were trapped in that narcissistic fog for so long. They didn't see a way out, but yet here they are, and they're paying it forward when their cup is full. This is a beautiful thing. This is the path. This is what we all must do once we get our cup full, but not until then. You need to get the message that throughout your life, before I close the video, throughout your life, many decisions were made that were not for your benefit. I can promise you right now. Many decisions in the narcissistic relationship, most of them weren't for your benefit, that were made by other people. I can promise you that. But you are the one beautiful thing that I'm referring to now. You're the beautiful, bright, shining light. The decisions of the future, once you put the narcissistic relationship in the past and you've blocked them, gone no contact, etc., you have nothing to do with them, these decisions are now yours. And you are so much lighter. You're free to do what you want to do. You have time. You have energy. You have abundance. You have so much ahead of you. You need to understand that anything in the past that happened, those days are over. They're finished. You need to learn the lifelong lessons from the past. You need to not predict the future. You need to live in the present moment, the here, the now, the right in this exact moment. This is where you need to be. Because when you are with the narcissist, or when you were with the narcissist, you were doing anything but living in the present moment. You were on that roller coaster of emotions. You didn't know where you were. You were trapped. You had no idea what was going on. And then again, when you got discarded, what happened? Well, you woke up quickly and you realized, oh my gosh, this person actually never loved me. They didn't care about me. And they left me for dead on the side of the road, crumbled up like a sheet of paper. Yeah, that's what happens. That's what these people do, because they go on to the new supply so effortlessly, because they never cared about you, and they don't care about the new supply. They don't care about anybody but themselves. That's why when you heal and you slow your life down, you process things, all the decisions now going forward are made by you. And in time, in your time, not only will you heal, but you'll make really incredible decisions that will benefit you. And if you wanted to, those loved and trusted ones around you. But it begins and it ends with you, because this is your experience on the planet. This is what it's all about. It's about you. It's always been about you. The narcissist just tricked you and trapped you and manipulated you for a period of time, which was the length of the relationship. They wanted it to be all about them. That's how they go through life. They want people falling for the mask and believing that the narcissist is the best thing on the planet. They're not. They're the exact opposite. They're a toxic individual that you should run for the hills, get away from them. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. Remember that you are not alone. And the decisions that you've made in life so far, you've made the best decisions you possibly could have. I can assure you. Why would you make a not good decision on purpose? You wouldn't. You wouldn't do that. Have you made mistakes? Of course, I have too. I make them every day. Point being is you need to learn from them. You need to be accountable. And you need to say, yep, I made mistakes. I'm taking ownership. I'm going to correct those. I'm not going to duplicate them. I'm going to really, really focus on myself. And that is why you sincerely need to get the message and block these people. They're never, ever going to change. They're only going to get worse over time. So everyone, I hope you liked the video. I loved it. God bless you all. And it is getting lively around here. A lot of birds. I love you guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow. All right, bye.